Imagine working for 40 years and still being scared to turn the heater on in winter. Because that's the retirement reality a lot of Australians are heading toward right now, quietly, slowly, without fully realizing it. Most people think the age pension will protect them. But when you actually run the numbers, the system was never designed to give you freedom. It was designed to stop you becoming homeless. And there's a massive difference between those two things. Today I'm going to show you why the age pension is becoming increasingly dangerous to rely on, the biggest retirement trap Australians fall into, and what financially comfortable retirees do differently. Because if you're in your 20s, 30s, or 40s right now, the next 10 years of your life financially matter way more than you think. Every Australian basically grew up with the same retirement story. Work hard, pay taxes, buy a house, superannuation quietly grows in the background, then eventually the government helps carry you through retirement. And decades ago that actually worked reasonably well. But younger Australians are entering a completely different economy now. Housing costs exploded, rent exploded, electricity exploded, healthcare costs climbed, and retirement itself got dramatically longer. A lot of people retiring today could spend 25 to 30 years retired. That's almost another entire working lifetime, except without employment income. And honestly, I think younger Australians feel this problem emotionally before they understand it mathematically. There's this quiet hopelessness that started creeping into people's thinking. I'll never own a home anyway. Super probably won't be enough. What's even the point? And the scary part, a lot of people mentally give up on retirement planning in their 30s without even realizing they've done it. That emotional surrender becomes financially devastating later. Let's look at the actual numbers. As of 2025, the full age pension for a single Australian is roughly around $29,000 a year. Now here's the important comparison. The Association of Superannuation Funds of Australia estimates that a comfortable retirement for a single person currently costs roughly $52,000 annually. That's not luxury, that's replacing your car when needed, occasionally traveling, seeing family, running the air conditioning without stress, and not panicking every time an unexpected expense appears. So immediately, there's a gap of more than $20,000 per year between the pension and a comfortable retirement. And here, where things completely fall apart, those retirement estimates usually assume you own your home. If you're renting into retirement, the maths becomes terrifying very quickly. A modest rental in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, even many regional areas now, can easily consume most of a pension payment by itself. That's before food, electricity, insurance, healthcare, transport, or literally enjoying your life in any way. The pension was never designed to fund comfort. It was designed as a safety net. And there's a huge psychological difference between the government will help me survive and the government will fund my ideal retirement are not the same thing. Now here's the part almost nobody fully understands. Inflation destroys retirees differently because retirees live on fixed income, and fixed income slowly gets strangled by rising costs even when pension payments increase. They often don't keep up with the actual categories retirees spend the most money: healthcare, insurance, utilities, medications, age, services, and those categories have been rising aggressively. Here's a simple example. At just 3% inflation annually, the purchasing power of your money roughly halves in about 24 years. That means the pension that already feels tight today could feel brutally insufficient later, and this isn't theoretical. There are retirees in Australia right now making quiet decisions they never imagined they'd have to make: leaving heaters off during winter, delaying dental work, skipping social outings because petrol and food cost too much, sitting in supermarket aisles calculating groceries item by item, not because they were irresponsible, but because inflation slowly changed the rules around them. And that's what makes retirement risk so dangerous. It doesn't usually arrive dramatically, it arrives quietly. First, fewer dinners out, then delayed medical appointments, then cutting heating in winter, then anxiety every time a bill arrives. Inflation slowly converts retirement from freedom into survival management. And by the time people realize what's happening, they're too old to meaningfully rebuild wealth quickly. And this is where a lot of Australians are going to make a critical mistake. Because most people watching this video are still thinking about retirement emotionally, not mathematically. Retirement feels far away, so people delay planning, delay investing, delay checking their super, delay learning how compounding actually works. And those delays feel harmless in your 20s and 30s, but financially they can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars later. Because retirement math is brutally unfair to people who start late. So what's the actual trap here? Dependency. That's the real danger. When your retirement depends entirely on one source of income, you become fragile. That source could be the age pension, one super fund, one property, or even inheritance expectations. And there are three major traps Australians fall into constantly. The first trap is assuming super will probably work itself out. Most people barely check fees, investment options, performance, or contribution strategy, they just hope. The second trap is inheritance, and this one's uncomfortable. The average inheritance in Australia arrives around people's 50s. By then, compounding has lost decades of power. Building your retirement around someone else dying is not a strategy, it's wishful thinking. And the third trap, believing the family home is the retirement plan. Now property absolutely matters. But here's the uncomfortable truth: you can't eat a house. Being asset rich and cash poor in retirement is incredibly common, especially if rising living costs force retirees to slowly drain whatever savings they do have. One income stream is fragile. Multiple income streams create resilience. That's the difference. Now, here's the encouraging part: financially comfortable retirees usually did surprisingly boring things, but they did them consistently for decades. They started earlier. Even small investments started in your 20s or 30s become powerful because compounding needs time more than intensity. Here's a simple example of how powerful time actually is. Someone investing $100 a week starting at age 25 can potentially end up with more money by retirement than someone investing twice as much starting at 45, not because they're smarter, not because they picked better investments, but because compounding had decades more time to work. That's the part younger Australians massively underestimate. Time is the asset, not intensity. They owned assets instead of just holding cash. Cash slowly loses value. Assets grow, compound, and produce income. They took super seriously earlier than most people, not at 50, at 35, at 40. They made voluntary contributions. They reduced unnecessary fees. They stayed invested long term. And they built multiple income streams, not necessarily huge ones, maybe. ETF, dividends, a side business, consulting income, freelance work, investment, property income, online income, or part-time flexible work later in life. The goal isn't becoming ultra rich. The goal is removing fragility, because financially comfortable retirees aren't relying on one payment to survive. They built systems that continue producing income after they stop working. So, what should younger Australians actually do first? Start investing early. And honestly, earlier matters far more than perfect. A simple low-cost ETF portfolio invested consistently over decades is dramatically more powerful than most people realize. The second thing, take your super seriously now, not later. Even an extra $50 or $100 a fortnight invested consistently inside super can become hundreds of thousands over time because of compounding and tax advantages. The mathematics behind compounding is simple. Third, build additional income streams outside your job, because relying on one income source your entire life is risky whether you're 25 or 75. And fourth, control lifestyle inflation. This is where a lot of higher income Australians accidentally stay broke. Every pay rise becomes a nicer car, more subscriptions, more expensive holidays, bigger repayments. But wealth is built in the gap between what you earn and what you spend. That gap buys assets, and assets buy freedom later. Finally, stop thinking retirement planning starts at 50. The biggest retirement advantage on earth is time. And if you're under 40 right now, you still have the reality. The age pension is probably not disappearing anytime soon. But if it's the only thing standing between you and financial stress later in life, that's dangerous. Because the pension helps people survive, assets create freedom, and the Australians who retire comfortably in 20 or 30 years probably won't be the people showing off wealth online today. They'll be the people who quietly started building early and kept going consistently for decades. If this video changed how you think about retirement, subscribe. I make videos specifically for Australians who want real financial security, not financial fantasy. And I genuinely want to hear your opinion in the comments. Do you think younger Australians are underestimating retirement completely? Or are we heading toward a genuine retirement crisis in Australia? Let me know below. Subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos. I'll see you in the next one.